date is the 14th because it's 14th.
Okay, so we will start with our here. Ask everyone to stand. Whakataka te hau ki te uru. Whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mākina kina te uta. Kia mātaratara te kai. He hia he ana te asakura. He tio, he hua, he auhu. Ti hei Māori. Thank you. First item on our agenda today is apologies. We have a possible early departure from Victoria. And just to also note, Jake and Victoria are both joining us online today. So we need a mover and a seconder. John, put that motion, all those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. We haven't had any declarations of interest. So I can do confirmation of previous minutes, and we do have two that we do. Can we do them together?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll move them all together. There's the one from our board meeting on 15th, and then the item 7, which is the joint meeting that we had with the Waitai board on the 13th of February. And we'll move around a second for both of those. Emma, I'll second them. So we'll put that motion. All those in favour? That is carried. Item 4, public forum. We do not have any today, nor do we have any deputations or any petitions. So we're zooming through the agenda. That takes us to item 8, which is tree planting in Cambridge Green and Marblewood Reserve. And do we have Toby? Yeah. Toby is joining us online. Welcome, Toby.
Thank you. How are you?
Thank you. So over to you. Did you want to? Oh, you've got a presentation there.
I do. Yeah, we can go through the presentation if you want. It's pretty quick because this was one of the really easy ones. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm just here about the urban forest planting program for Cambridge Green and Marblewood Reserve. Go to the next slide. So this planting program is part of the implementation of the urban forest plan, which was adopted last year. And it meets a number of the objectives of the plan, such as increasing canopy cover across the city. It's a focus on getting the overall canopy for our park spaces to 40%. It includes a provision for providing for a network of forest patches across the city, increasing the visibility of native and indigenous species, and planting trees in sites that are able to reach maturity. Next slide, please. So when determining where we were going to put trees in these parks, we use what we call a recession plan model. So we tried to take account of some of the complaints we get about trees at the moment, and we wanted to ensure that the trees that we plant, one, they've got the space to support themselves through to maturity, but also we want to avoid having some of those future issues. So one of the big ones that we often get is complaints about shading of trees. So what we've done is we've applied a recession plane model, maybe familiar for some of you from the last set of planes we did, where we've used the same modelling that is used for building. So we offset and we ensure that the mature canopy will not grow above those recession lines to help manage that shading. We also provide shading maps for all the plants as well. We've got offsets from the paths to avoid path damage. We have boundary offsets for the trees to ensure that even at maturity, the branches will not grow outside of the park boundary. We look at the existing use of the park. So where we've got playgrounds or where we've got open areas, we try and protect that open space. We talk to people about the use of the playground. We have offsets for underground services. We look at future plans for the parks. So some parks where we know there's a playground. So quite often where we're upgrading playgrounds, if they're within 10 metres of a boundary, the playground is being moved. So we look at where those playgrounds are most likely to be moved to, and we keep those sites clear of trees so we don't have issues or restrict future development that we know is going to occur in there. We look at the distribution of Indigenous forests nearby. So that's part of that forest, that network of forests. So where we've got some openings or some gaps and we haven't got any native forest around or within close enough proximity for wildlife to move, then we incorporate those forests into those parks. And then lastly, we look at things like location of waterways and ensure that we're planting along those, because in the urban forest plan, we're also trying to increase canopy cover along our waterways. Next slide, please. So the consultation for these plans went out on the 15th of December and they were out to the 1st of February. We also sent emails out to 86 different stakeholders. Cambridge Green page received 32 views and Marble, which received 26. We put out a newsline article, Facebook pages, which got a lot of people. We also delivered flyers to all the neighbouring properties and we had signage installed with QR codes at the main entrances to all the parks during the consultation period. Next slide, please. So when we look at Cambridge Green, the proposal is for us to add an additional 14 trees. And what that'll do is that'll see our canopy increase from 17% to 62% at maturity. We received 3 individual submissions, 2 strongly supported and 1 somewhat supported. The main feedback was around species and planting natives, which we're going to be doing anyway. So we haven't proposed any changes to this plan. And the other plan was for Marblewood Reserve, which is proposing an additional 19 trees. We'll be looking at increasing the canopy cover from 32 to 72%. This plan received no individual submissions and we are proposing to proceed with it as it is.
Just sound interesting. They trust us. No, too busy. Life's too busy.
So from here, if the plans are approved, we'll get underway with planting. So we're kind of highlighting that planting's going to be over a 1 to 5 year period. In these parks, it'll be probably 1 year. So we'll be looking to get in and plant this year. The only thing that's holding us back a bit is demand for trees. Generally, it takes us 2 to 3 years to grow the trees to order. So we're somewhat subject to what is available as we start to build up our stock. We'll certainly be putting trees in the park, but you may not see all of them done immediately. If we need to grow some on, in general, we'll probably be able to get these ones done. Planting will be completed by the council's internal planting team. So that includes planting, aftercare, so watering for the first 3 years, a form prune at year 3, 5, and then at year 7. So they get regular checks. And then at year 7, it'll go into our normal maintenance program. And we'll be looking at when we go in and plant, letting community know in case anyone from the community want to come in and help, and maybe looking at facilitating some community planting days as well where appropriate. I think that's it from me.
Great, thank you, Toby. Any questions? Ellie.
Thanks, Toby. Just a couple. What's the effect of planting non-deciduous trees in an area like this with a reasonable grass cover and so forth?
Do you mean as in whether we would maintain grass underneath the trees?
Well, if you're planting natives, then you're planting deciduous trees, right?
Sometimes. So, yes, we will be planting evergreen trees if they're natives. Native trees have different densities, so there are some native trees that have quite a light density. But yes, growing grass under trees is a challenge. Again, it depends on what's around it and how high we raise the canopy. So where we've got that raised canopy, we'll still get grass growing underneath. But if it's a denser planting, then yes, we would get less grass growing underneath.
Can I ask that we have that kind of information included in the reports, because I think that's really important. parks are for people to sit on grass and use grass, and if it's going to be affected by the plantings of natives, I think that should be noted. The other thing is the cost. I see 20,000. Is that for one of them or for both of them? Sorry, I'm just flicking through.
That will be for both of them.
Both, okay. Right, and at the moment, the canopy cover is, did you say 35%?
So each one has a different canopy cover in each of those parks.
And then what about the 35%, both of them?
Hold on, I'll just go back to it. So one of them is currently 17%. So Cambridge Green is currently 17, and Marblewood Reserve is currently 35. Yes.
Okay, so why would we be planting in an area that's got 35% coverage when there are some areas in town that have got very, very low, if any, coverage whatsoever? And just looking at those images, there seems to be a pretty good coverage in
Yep.
at least one of them.
No, you're absolutely right. So we are planting those areas with low canopy as well, where they also need trees. But if we ignore the places with trees, then we remove our ability for succession planting. So where we've got quite often that good cover, a lot of those trees will be semi-mature to mature trees. So we want others to start coming through anyway, so that eventually we can replace some of those trees as well. So we continue to plant trees. We're looking at planting all of our parks, so we're looking at all of them using this method, and some of them will already have trees, so they'll have less added, but it's still important that we continue to plant in these parks.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from you?
Just, yeah, and are they, thanks Toby, are they, the trees, the sightings of the trees, are they going to help, like the bird, path, what do you call it, you know, when they fence through the city? They need to, the corridors, they need to, they fly and stop, don't they? So are these going to help that?
Yes, so there's the Forest Patch Network or Native Forest Network. I think it's still a working title to find something a bit catchier. But essentially what we look at is we look at the distribution of our native forests and how far that is spread. So where we have there's three main sizes. There's a very large plots, which are 6.5 hectares, then 1.5 hectares, and then we have small forest plots in between. I don't believe Marblewood native one, but I think Cambridge Green, because it's along an edge, we were going to do some native planting in there, which would form part of that network as well.
Oh, thank you.
John, you had a question?
Yes, I have three, if I may. Thanks, Toby. Native trees is a very common theme that comes up in submissions, and that's something you're planning anyway. Roughly what number of the trees in these plans are native versus exotics?
Yep, so we aim between 40 and 60% of the tree species to be natives. In some places where there's an existing, for example, a character park, where there's already an exotic theme, some of our heritage and garden parks, there'll be a higher number of exotics, but then we've got other parks where we're going higher in natives. For Cambridge Green, I'd have to go onto site for that one in particular, and Marblewood would be a mix. But Cambridge Green, I believe, was already had quite a native theme in there, so we'd probably just continue with the native trees in Cambridge Green.
Great, thank you. Now, one of the concerns raised was potential debris drop over boundaries, but I take it that recession plain and the choice of species, you've really ameliorated that.
Yes, and that's the intention, yeah. So no, everything will be set back far enough that we don't have any branches growing over, and then, as you mentioned, that recession plane will also ensure that even the higher canopies are set back. So we can't say that no debris will go over, but it will certainly mitigate a lot of it and minimise it.
Yeah, as well as having that, mitigated shade as well. Now, my third one is there were some ideas that were brought up, an open question number 6 in the submissions, and mostly they go outside of the scope of this planting, but I wonder if there's a way of capturing these ideas so that they don't disappear. This might be more of a question for the board, such as trapping and goose reduction and some riparian planting, those sorts of things.
So what we do with those things, they get handed to the relevant person within the parks team to have a look at and see how that can be incorporated. So that was the intention of that additional question, to capture anything else while people were engaging with the council.
Great. Thanks, Toby. That's all of my questions.
Toby? I've just got a quick, more of a suggestion rather than a question. There's the Aratapu preschool that borders Marblewood Reserve.
Okay.
And I thought it might be good to see if they want to be involved with the planting when it comes.
Absolutely. Yep. I would say that they would have been on the stakeholder list as well, because any of the schools and things that were nearby, I believe we were on the stakeholder list. So we'd certainly be engaging them. There's a few other parks as well, which are next to schools. So the intention is try and engage with them to see if they'd like to come out and park at the same time.
Right. And also it's just interesting to note that there was no feedback about Marblewood Reserve, because recently when the wildflower trail was put in there, Victoria and I were bombarded with emails. So hopefully the residents haven't missed this. And yeah.
Yeah, like we went through pretty big lengths to try and engage with as many people as we could, including letter drops around all the properties as well, and signage at all the entrances. So.
Cool. Oh, well done with that. Do we have a mover? Pauline, and Sunita's happy to second. Any debate?
I just wanted to say one thing. I think that because we're in a position at the moment where we are tightening our belts, right? I just think that that doing this everywhere, regardless of canopy cover, I appreciate the argument around succession planting, which is important. But I do think that we have to be really careful about what we're spending in areas that may not need the money at this point. So I'm going to support it today because I think we do need more trees. But looking at these parks, particularly the one that's got 35% cover, it would be really good if we could be a little more selective about what we're doing and when we're doing as we're watching the fiscal situation.
Great, thanks, Ellie. Right, we'll put that motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Yes, that is carried. Thank you very much, Toby. You work on that one.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Right, we now move to item 9, better off fund applications. We have the application for St Albans Pool, Pavilion and Pool Operated and Facility Intermediate School. Welcome along, Helen.
Thank you. I'll take the report as read. And if there are any questions?
Pauline?
Oh, just the Shirley one, was that, which umbrella are they operating under? Was that the Shirley project?
The Shirley project is operating under the umbrella of the Shirley Intermediate School.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we're able to fund it?
Yes, they're
Fund
eligible.
the school.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Ellie?
Thank you. Just looking at the Edgware Pool one, which I'm very supportive of the Edgware Pool and getting that back up and running. And thank you for the information in there related to the Amendment 2 that informs the provisos that the government, that the council funding has been agreed upon. What I want to know is within that amendment and the provisos that are laid out, so it's number 1.B in that, how much of that has been ticked off? How much of that, those provisos, the grant will only, this is the City Council grant of $3 million, will only be paid to the St Albans Pavilion and Pool Incorporated in instalments at agreed milestones on confirmation that. And then we have a list of the issues or the things that need ticking off. Where are we at with those?
My understanding is that the pool group have met most of those. They've been in discussion with the head of recreation and sports. They have signed contracts and they're working through all of those points.
Okay, so Helen, I need something more specific than that though. So the head of recreation, sport and events is satisfied that the project brief scope is appropriate for an outside community pool. So has that been commented on?
this application has gone to the head of recreation and sports and they have approved.
Yeah, that's not what I was asking. A
Mm.
registered QS has confirmed the total project costs based on developed, designed and are within the project budget. Is that information available? That the pool group have raised the balance of the funds to complete the full project. Why I'm raising this is, you know, as I said, I'm hugely supportive of this, but this is a significant amount of money. And I think we need some surety here that these provisos are either well on the way or have in fact been ticked off.
Well, I've been informed that they are well on the way.
But just a question here, because this council resolution does not apply to the betterment funder.
No, it doesn't.
It only applies to the $3 million grants.
No, you're misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be giving $44,000, $50,000, $60,000, $10,000 to an organisation that has a project that's going to cost millions of dollars, and the proviso on them being able to complete that project is based on a number of contingency points by the council.
Well, one point is that it's not connected.
Well, it is connected because we might have a project that is wallowing, that is not moving forward, and how do we know if our money's actually going to go ahead and help us?
Well, the money's going into the consent.
We're not getting into debate.
No, but it's not, I'm just trying to, it's not connected. Oh, sorry,
Well, I'm
Helen.
saying it is connected, and it's clearly connected, and that's my point.
So, yep, I just might be able to answer Ali's one of the questions. I know they've got the quantity surveyor, they've got the costings, but how close, I think they need the detailed design to get the actual, so the costing's in there, it's 3.5 something, isn't it? So that, I think Helen's right, they've ticked off most of those things.
Look, Chair, I'm really sorry about this, and I appreciate Pauline's knowledge and experience around this as a project, but we actually need some staff advice and information on this, and it has to be really clear and it has to be up to date to inform the decisions that we're making.
My understanding is that the money from the council is for the construction of the pool, not to be used on planning stage of the pool. And what has happened is that basically, because it's been going on so long, new regulations have been brought in since they started, and this money actually is extra that they were not expecting to have to pay, but now have to because of changes in regulations.
And where's that in the stuff we're considering? Where's that information in the stuff we're considering?
I think we discussed it. We've discussed it before.
We had the update from you.
December she came in.
Yeah.
Came in last December.
Yeah, but my point is, I'm sorry if I'm sounding pedantic. Where in the report that we are considering today is the information that we need to have to make an informed decision? That's all I'm asking. It's really simple.
Well, it's all in the report. We as a board have decided to put through 40, what are we doing? 41 million, 41,000 towards this project to help with consenting. Simple.
So in the budget, it states in the report in the budget, it says working drawings, lodging consents and engaging contractor. So that's what the 41,000 is being spent on.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. But what I'm saying is I want some more surety on how the project is panning out at the moment. I appreciate they're moving forward and they are getting things done. But how likely are they to complete those points under the proviso there for the grant? Because that does play a part in this. Are we giving money to and I'm not saying this is the case, but are we wanting to give money to an organisation that is basically nowhere near any of these provisos or achieving these provisos that will give them the money they need to build the pool? That's all I'm asking.
They basically have the money to.
Helen has just said that you understand that they are well on the way to meeting those criteria. So I think that's your answer, Ali.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't accept that because if someone's had a look at something and gone, yeah, that looks okay, that is not enough to inform a decision.
They gave us a good presentation,
Yeah.
didn't they, with all the milestones.
And we can certainly seek for an update from the group to come.
After we give the money.
But no, we are giving the money on the basis of previous presentation. That they need, this money is going to actually help them to really just bid the last bit of the puzzle before they can avail the council's money.
Until they can what, sorry?
Until they can start council, that 3 million can be.
And how do you know that, Sunita?
Because Lynn came in here and she has talked to us.
So all of those provisos under 1B are essentially have been met and are ready to go after they've done this next stage.
Look, your question is legitimate. I'm not questioning that. What I'm trying to say is, given the presentation
Yeah.
we had.
Yeah.
It has explained it to us that why they are asking for more money.
And I
because of
understand.
all these unseen
I
new
understand.
commitments and so on.
Mhm.
So for me, I am making my decision on the basis of that they never anticipated that they need this money.
Okay.
But it has come to them, and if we don't give them this money now, actually what you are your concern is that will become reality. They won't be able to actually reach to that point where they'll start building because they don't have that much money.
Yeah, with respect, I don't think that follows through as an argument. But I think-
I'm just gonna hold that there because next debate and we're still on questions. Victoria, have you got a question?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate we're not in debate yet, but my questions were also along the same line as what Ali's were. And as an aside, I'd like to be able to see that information in the report in terms of the conditions being met. But I think one of the outliers here is there's a reference to the rata funding of 100,000. And yet that hasn't been secured yet, and that's not an insignificant sum. Or putting that in another way, that is a significant sum. And so I'd like to know from staff whether there's any indication about how secure that funding is, because if that's not available, I'm just conscious of the pressure on the philanthropic pocket. Can you give us any update or any indication about that 100,000 from rata, because that's significant, and I don't want to be throwing good money after bad.
I can't give you any indication of whether they will receive that grant or not.
So can I ask another question then? Is there any urgency with this? Is it an option to lie this on the table to get some additional information to hopefully satisfy the issues raised by Ali and also by me in order that we consider this more fully?
I would support that.
Yes, you can lay it on the table.
That's at our discretion.
I'd like to move it.
I'll second it.
Right. I just.
Are we doing both together, by the way, because I could move both?
I think we'll separate them.
Okay.
So this is just the Edgewood Pool one. Okay. I just want to note the email that came from MOP yesterday. When I asked the question about, because one of those provisos in the council resolution is around the group provided to the council an operational renewal plan and budget. Evidence that the ongoing budgets required will be able to be covered by the group without any council funding. That obviously has not been met, according to the information I received from Emmy yesterday. So yeah, I think that's, at least one of those conditions that hasn't yet. Sorry, that should have been a question, but there wasn't actually one in there. Anyway, we will move to debate. So I've had it moved by Pauline and seconded by, who was it, Sunita? Yes. So debate. Ali.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that, I think essentially this board is turning into a bit of a rubber stamping exercise with these things, and it's really disappointing. I would also, at the risk of being inflammatory, suggest that I think Pauline's got a conflict of interest with the pool issue, and it's clear to me. I mean, she's been amazing working with them and fundraising for them and attending events and so forth. But I believe now that the relationship is so close that there is a perceived or real conflict of interest, and I'd like to raise that here through you, Emma. It's not an insignificant amount of money, and I think the points that both Victoria and I have raised, it is remiss of us as governors to not consider that information. To be signing off something like this without knowing that, I think is irresponsible. So despite, as I said, supporting this pool and being there from the day it was closed and being demolished, I can't support the Edgeware pool funding application today because there's not enough information there. I will be supporting the second one, but it's just disappointing that we don't have the robust and proper information that we need, I think, to make the informed decision that we should.
Well then,
Yeah, thank you. Look, I think we've all got a conflict of interest with this project by now because it's been going for so long and it's such a key part of the community in Innes. And we've all been very close to it. We've had the group coming and presenting in here many times now. I don't have a problem with where they're at with the project. I think it's poised to actually start. In fact, they were talking about starting construction this year. So once they get this consents done, they can get going. This is betterment funding. This is Crown funding. We're lucky to have it. Our board has selected various really worthy projects throughout the whole of the 3 wards to distribute this money. And I think that to be questioning this at this stage is pretty tough on this group who've actually worked so hard towards this project. I feel comfortable that this is a wise spend, that this is a helpful spend, a beneficial spend, and the benefit to the community of having this pool and the Shirley pool will benefit all 3 of these wards, Papanui-Innes-Central, and all the children and families that can use them will be amazing. Like it or not, we do have a shortage of outdoor pools, and I am declaring that I'm passionate about swimming, particularly outdoor pools. I don't think that gives me a conflict of interest in any way. There's lots of sports that we support around this table without having a conflict. I do not fundraise for the pool. I'm happy to go along and put my face to any supporting, and I think that we all do that at times. There's a fine balance there. So I don't feel conflicted. I feel quite able to vote on this, and I do support this group, and I absolutely admire them for their fortitude, their longevity, their stickability, and their incredible strength and determination to get this over the line. And for this board to be supporting this today is, I think, really, really important. So please do support it today.
so Jake and Victoria and then Simon.
Hello, hopefully I'm coming through clearly with the net echo's gone. But no, I mean, I was going to draw a point of order during Ali's debate, really. I don't think it's a conflict of interest. Conflicts of interest are chiefly pecuniary and related to financial gain. And Pauline certainly doesn't have any financial gain tied up in this project. Being really passionate about something and being conflicted.
I'm calling a point of order on that. That is incorrect. It is not only a pecuniary advantage, and I can mention a conflict or perceived conflict where there isn't a pecuniary advantage. So I want you to correct that, thanks.
We might need to get some legal advice and correct the record for everyone's integrity, I think would be good. And that's really how I'll conclude my debate. But I support this project. It's great. Let's support it in any way we can.
Thanks, Jake. Victoria.
Thank you. I really want to support this project. I'm also incredibly passionate about swimming, love outdoor pools. And as I said, I really want to be able to support it because I'm mindful and I'm very, I believe that this is going to have great community outcomes. And I have no doubt that people are working incredibly hard to make this a reality. However, I am with Ali on this. I don't think that the sufficient information is there for us. There's too many gaps for me. You know, if that 100,000 is not coming through from Rata, and I'm not saying that it's not going to, but that's a significant gap for me, and there isn't sufficient certainty about the progression of this project in order for me to put more money at it. You might think that it's only 41,000 in a much bigger project, but 41,000 is 41,000, and we all know the pressures that we're under as a council at the moment. I appreciate that this is betterment funding. It's funding that we didn't know that we were going to have. And it's a bit of a gift in that respect, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be responsible about the decisions and the priorities we're making about that spending. I would really like to support it, but I just can't today until, further information was available. I'm disappointed we don't get the opportunity to have it lying on the table, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Simon.
That's a bit spicy. I wasn't expecting that. My experience, business as usual for our board and for philanthropic organisations and other providers of grants to commit support to projects without having certainty that those projects will be seen through right to their end. This grant is towards compliance planning and contract costs, and regardless of whether the pool group receives other support, how quickly, from what sources, work will progress towards compliance planning and contract costs thanks to our grant, should we make a decision to approve it today. So I don't see our grant needing to stand or fall on other sources being committed. If every grant provider took that approach, no one would grant money for anything because everyone would be waiting for everyone else. And I don't see this grant needing to stand or fall on the fulfilment of the conditions for the construction grant from the council either, because that will come at a time as the pool group works through compliance planning and contracting. Sure.
Thanks, Simon. Anyone else? I will add something. I purposefully waited until last because I'm really torn on this one. I really want to support this group, and I was erring towards the same view as Ellie and Victoria, but I think, Simon, you've actually just changed my mind. So I'm glad I waited till last. They are linked because obviously without those conditions being met, the project can't go ahead at this time without that 3 million from the council. So I think that they are linked. But yeah, these funds are tagged towards those certain things that come before the construction. So on that basis, I will be supporting this today. Everyone? Okay, we'll put that motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against?
Me,
Victoria, you want that noted?
yes, please.
That is carried. Emma, we've got you down as seconding that. So you must have just beaten Sunita. Right, we'll move on to the Shirley Intermediate School pool. With any questions over that one? Sunita's moved it. I'm going to second that. Any debates?
Oh, can I just quickly say that
Yes.
I think these two pools will actually work together beautifully and really enrich the whole area of our three wards. We'll all be able to access them, and I just have this vision of these two pools and then the kids using them, families actually having this friendly, inter-club competitions again and some fun around the pools. And the more pools, the better. You've got to find the right balance with the cost and everything, but I'm really looking. The Shirley pool is a fantastic pool. It's really quite wide, and it's just got a beautiful good feel about it. So it's exciting to see the community step up and take this on board, and the fact that to see the life in this community and all the groups that have come alive and come together is just over the past few years compared to when I joined this board in 2007. There wasn't a patch on it, and now you've got all these groups stepped up together to work together on this project. That's part of the journey, that's part of the benefit. So I'm really pleased to see this today. So I'll be supporting it definitely.
One is just a comment really in regards to, did anyone see the Christchurch history post over the last few, that was on there the last few days in regards to someone asking about photos of the Edgware pool and all the memories, asking for people's memories of the pool. I mean, if we can make that happen within our community again, it was magical to read them, and being able to sit here and provide these facilities again for our communities is, and they are sustainable, they're local, living locally. It's just, they tick every box. So I'm be really excited to see in 40 years' time another post with some amazing comments about how much fun people have had over the last 30 years.
Excellent.
Oh, and just to add to that, I think if Pauline says it's great to see these groups coming together and to see that groups have already signed up and say, yes, we'll use it for this many days of week, sort of thing, those vulnerable groups in the area. So yeah, really happy to support this one. So we'll put that motion. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you for those reports, Helen.
Got one more.
Yes, you do. Item 10, Youth Development Fund application for Alyssa Vada. So we'll take the report as read. Any questions? No, Sunita's moved it. I'll second it. Put that motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
That's carried.
Thank you.
Great, and we'll look forward to having her come back and report to us.
Yeah.
Item 11, St Albans Residents Association Discretionary Residence Fund application. Emma, you are declaring an interest, so you did that.
So if you want any information, I do know about it.
Right. Hopefully Stacey does too, so we can ask her.
Yeah, so kia ora. DRE for upgrading a website. Probably the point of difference is this website will have a more community focus. There's some really cool projects happening in the community. I think about the history group, they're working with council to do some cool QR code type things, and to have a good website to host that information is essential. Happy to take any other questions.
Any questions for Stacey? No, Sunita.
Stacey, how are they going to match up? We are only offering, like your suggestion is 3,500. Do we know that?
Look, we could be happy if you wanted to increase that, but as being equitable and what we have funded in the past, that was what's my staff rationale for that figure.
And do they have the funds to be able to cover the rest of it?
Yes.
Happy to move.
Sunita's moved. Oh, you're on to it today.
Just,
Okay, Pauline.
just clarification on that. So they've requested 5.
Correct.
And do they have the funds if we only give them the 3.5? They,
Correct. Yes.
but they'd be happy if we gave them more.
Really happy if we can.
The other group that.
I know, yeah.
That is your decision.
And also there are, I mean, like this, it umbrellas many groups as was pointed out with the history group. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off. The other groups that we're giving funding to don't get the opportunity to speak. So, yeah,
I was just pointing out that there's other groups
just going to make
involved.
that there. Alex.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so they are happy with, or they're requesting that amount, or they're requesting the 5, we're offering the lower, that's fine because they've got funds. Have they not got funds for the whole thing?
They probably do, but then it's the chicken and egg. If they come to the board for funding, and then they can use their money for other community projects. So.
Okay, no, that's right. I just, it's just a while since we've seen how it's operating, and I go back to the issue again of it being self-sustaining, but I can talk to that in a minute.
But as you said, this is on par with, what was it, Icon we did recently, Richmond, I think we funded.
Yeah, over the years there's
Yeah,
been, and so
It's,
the 3.5 is kind of the average of what the board has funded in the, for other groups in the past, but obviously your decision.
So Sunita's moved it. We have a seconder. Simon, get your name on there. Right, we'll move to debate. Ellie, you want to-
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say too, I appreciate that this is on a par with other organisations, but this organisation runs a community centre. It's a business, and we've talked about this in the past with it being self-sustaining, looking at what bookings there are, how much money's being spent. I'm just wary of the board being relied on for things that should be a part of a business plan and moving forward and being able to be self-sustaining. But I will support this because I think that Sarah is so wide-reaching in the area, has been there a long time and is well established. But I don't accept that it is on a par with those other organisations you mentioned, because the others don't run businesses as such. And it's got to be self-sustaining eventually.
Thank you. Look, I'd just be hesitant to call a community centre a business. And I appreciate where Ellie's coming from, that they do bring in revenue for room hire, etc. But in actual fact, if you look at it from the other way, if the council was operating the community centre, it would be costing us hundreds of thousands more, many more thousands of dollars than allowing a community group to do it. And this is why the council is leaning towards encouraging community groups to step up and run these community centres. I think this group's doing incredibly well, and they've had to come through COVID just after the centre opened. And I think that the call on council funding is quite minimal, really. And I think the community is getting really, really good value for it. That centre is so popular and so well regarded. And I know the mayor went and visited there recently and he still raves about it. So they're doing a very good job and I'm happy to support them. I don't think we expect these centres to ever make a profit. So I think it's dreaming to think they'd ever be self-funding, sufficiently funding completely. We can always strive for it and I'm sure that they are. But at the moment, I think it's beneficial for the council to have people running them and it's much, much, much cheaper on the ratepayer. So I'll be supporting this.
Anyone else? They will put that motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you, Stacey. Cool. And item 12, area report.
Busy. Yeah, happy to take any questions, but just a couple of shout outs. Shirley Shine is on Sunday from 12 to 3. In the next couple of weeks, Richmond Gala is going to be at Avery House on the 23rd of March, and that's between 10 and 2. And next Thursday, staff, Trevor, myself and Helen will be in the library from 2 to 6 talking about long-term plan and strengthening communities. So if you have any groups and they have questions for you about that, will be available in the library next Thursday.
Sorry, what time did you say?
From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Any chance you could put that together on a wee JPEG and so we can shoot it around?
Yeah, for sure. We'll get the lovely Lisa to sort that out tomorrow.
JPEG, not PEG.
JPEG, I'll put JPEG. Or, yeah. Oh, good. But obviously, happy to take any other questions from the area report.
Cool. Do we have any for them? No.
Thanks.
No. Right, well, thank you very much for a very thorough, interesting report.
People like Mark.
Certainly a lot going on in the area. It's good to get that update. So we need a mover and a seconder for that. Ali and Pauline, put that motion. All those in favour?
Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
And then the final item is elected members' information exchange. Emma, we've been waiting on meeting.
Well, yes, so I'll just give you an update on the St Albans Community Centre and the fact that we try and run it as a sustainable business, sustainable thing. The council gives $40,000 towards the running of it a year. That goes towards it. We cover all the staffing, all the maintenance. The council doesn't cover any of the maintenance. That's all covered. All the operational costs are covered by the residents associated in running. So there's not a huge amount left in it. And also, what with the community group running it, what it actually enables that community group to do is to ensure that smaller community groups get the use of the community centre free. So what it is doing is subsidising all the smaller groups in the area to ensure that they can continue with their programs and their activities. So, it doesn't go into the back pocket of SARA, it's spread widely through the community. Just a little update there with it.
Sneaker?
Sorry, Emma, did you get a chance to catch up with Williamson?
I went twice, knocked on his door. I've left a note.
Should we share that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got correspondence, me and Emma both, about the visibility of homeless individuals and people, either probably drug users in Edgware village area, late night approaching people to asking for money. And we got that correspondence via Duncan Webb's MP's office. So personally, because we live in the area, we have observed that. I don't know exactly what we can ask, but
We can just pass it on through the board to the community. Policemen, because that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
So
just an update as well. So I've organised with the editor of St Albans News to do a little article in regards to, trying to discourage.
Yeah.
Again, so just a little bit of education and, don't give money, and just getting people, if they do feel threatened in the village, to communicate to the business owners that they feel it, and the reminder about 105. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't watch it like late at night, but what it is a bunch of like 2 or 3 older men who sit at the bus stop and drink. And it's a beautiful, I mean, I don't blame them. It's a beautiful sunny spot.
Yeah, the one by the bookshop.
Yeah,
And they just sit there. And I don't know if those ones are causing trouble.
no, I have seen people by the, there's a bench right in front of pharmacy.
Yes.
So I've seen a man and a woman sitting there. I have even spotted needles.
Okay.
So that's as a concern, especially children hang around that area quite a lot.
Yeah.
And look, there's a vape shop, there is a liquor shop, so to say that.
It's really intimidating. It is so intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, our daughter's seen the ones that, in town by I think it's Hereford Street. And, she's been next to someone who's been approached by a homeless person begging, who spat in the face of the person next to her. And now she has to catch a bus or get off a bus further away from the gym and walk. So it's a citywide issue.
Yeah.
A lot of it's addiction and mental health, I think.
But we did saw that kind of behavior after earthquake, but then it was all fine but now suddenly we are observing more.
Well, so we did bring in the community police. So when it was brought up last time, we brought in the community police, and they actually they were in the area quite a bit. Stephen Anderson at the supermarket trespasses people as well. But of course you can't trespass them off the streets.
True.
So so it's just a matter of.
We'll pass it on to.
So, one last thing, I went to Phillipstown pizza thingy. That was great. I know Stacey was there as well at that point. Community happy to see all that event we are supporting. Keep supporting
At the community centre.
at the hub. Yeah. So I got some pizza as well. So that was nice.
We'll go Victoria and then John and Emma.
Oh, thank you. Just very quickly for the community board members that weren't aware that at council today, we finally signed off and approved the consultation document going out for the long-term plan. And conscious that Stacey said she's going to do an information session, I will be running a number of drop-in sessions at both the Redwood and the Papanui libraries over the next month. The consultation period's from the 18th of March through to the 21st of April, conscious that Easter's in the middle of that. And I just encourage any of you, my fellow colleagues at the board table there, to make sure that you're talking about it and you're encouraging people to submit. We really need to hear from them. So by all means, please dish out my phone number if people want to come in and into my drop-in sessions, or if any of you as community board members want to join me, you are most welcome to do that. Hard copies are going to be available in the library, as well as a large big print reader copy as well. And we'll be having a stand at the Papanui Library. Really keen to try and get as much feedback as we can on that. So by all means, liaise with me. That was all. Thanks.
Thanks, Victoria. John.
Yeah, just a couple of other goings-ons around the neighbourhoods in Central, down in the Waltham, Charleston, Phillipstown area. The Edmonds Factory Gardens had their garden party since our last meeting. Sunita, Jake and I went, and it was very well attended, actually. Not only by regular people, but there were a lot of people there, I think, would not normally have gone to or known about the garden. So the whole point of enlisting neighbourhood support in the gardens, I think, worked really well. They had pipe bands, a jazz band, bouncy castle, art exhibitions. It was very good. The Victoria neighbourhoods had a very nice picnic evening that the neighbourhoods came to. Sunita and I were there too, and that was a really nice chance to commune with those residents, and it imbued their whole positioning statement really of pleasant inner city living. They really do own that and live that. That was really nice. And on the inner city east side, work's begun on that Linwood Village streetscaping, and I'm seeing signs of that galvanising a lot of latent community energy that was just sort of sitting there as potential energy is becoming kineticized now with the likes of a graffiti prevention group, because anyone who graffitis the new street, they will rue the day.
Yeah, exactly.
It is actually already looking good. With
Yeah.
even still mid job.
Right, yeah. It's that classic promise of a better future.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to make such a difference.
And it has brought energy up in people as well, like people are really feeling positive.
That would be nice for them to see some money.
Exactly, yeah. Because I went to their Linwood market last weekend and the vibe was good. Yeah, people were smiling at me, looking good. Otherwise, they'll come and tell me off. So that was a good sign.
Thanks for those updates, John. Emma, you had something else, and then we've got Ellie and Simon.
Yeah, so just there had a complaint in regards to children banging on doors around Sherborne Street area and kicking doors and just being menace, and so they were recorded and tracked by the residents and back to the emergency housing on the motels down Sherborne. Sherborne,
Right.
Same street, but yeah, Sherborne part of it had been turned into emergency housing. And then following up from that today, an email back from Duncan Webb in regards to the fact there's 14 families living in one motel unit.
Is it that same one? And
It's
did you say one unit?
well, not
No,
one
no, no,
unit.
Oh, the
but,
whole thing, yeah, right.
One
Motel.
one motel.
Yeah, that's
unit.
cosy.
Yeah, so there's 14 families living in there. So MSD are following that up and seeing if they can chat. But it is that was about them causing trouble at people's houses. But I have driven down there several times and seen really young kids playing on the footpaths and roads around the area, because there's nowhere for them to play. So, yeah, it's a pretty unsafe environment that's been done there. But apparently now MSD are realising that there are issues with people keeping their housing. And so they are actually providing education and support to people when they go into housing about how to keep their house, how to keep it clean, how to, pay the bills and, all that sort of stuff. So there's some mentoring going on with them to improve their situation. So, yeah, and also I did the judging of the community gardens or community streets.
Did you go on the Bentley?
Which way is the camera? Bentley.
Camera's up there.
No, I don't think we went to Bentley.
No, in a Bentley.
Oh, in a Bentley. No, it wasn't Bentley. No, but it was a lovely morning, so it was good.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for doing that, Emma.
It's okay. And I've also had some people commenting about the crossing outside St Albans School at Berwick Street. Apparently at rush hours and things, you'll press it and it goes off. And so you have to press it about 3 times for it to actually work. So if we could.
The Cranford Crossing?
The Cranford Crossing, at English Park.
Have you sent through a CSR about that?
No, but I
That will
will.
be this first step.
Yep. And also at that crossing, the lights still seem to, I'll put it in the CSR as well, but the lights still seem to be favouring straight ahead down Sherborne Street, where it's meant to be favouring the cars turning onto Barbados. But there's the cars build up on Barbados and the traffic is running, the lights get a lot more, or they seem to get a lot more to go straight down Sherborne, but I thought that it was meant to be taken, that Berwick was meant to have the right away or the main option. So
Ask that question, you see, so.
yeah. The community gardens. I went on the community gardens bus tour around community gardens around the city. We've now got 75 community gardens in Canterbury.
Oh, wow.
And they're all doing amazing things, from little tiny projects to quite major. So there was Smith Street, I think, Urban Farm being the biggest. So there's a huge amount of work going on in the community food resilience area in Christchurch, which is really great to see.
Thank you. Ellie.
Thank you. I sent a video around, I don't know whether people have had a chance to see it, just with regards to the issues around Thissons and Langdons. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. I'm wondering what, if anything, the board can do to ask that there be an ongoing audit of what's happening with traffic. It's happening at the Burwick traffic lights as well. So you're getting traffic basically sitting in the middle of the road, blocking both directions because there's nowhere for them to go. The Sissons one, to me, appeared to be a phasing issue because it would get chocker, then it would empty, then it would get chocker, and it seemed to be on a set time, not just haphazardly. But I just want to know what the board thinks. And this was not at peak time. I think I said in my email to you, it was 5 to 1 or 2:05 on a Thursday afternoon or something. So, I note that in the recent resident survey, that traffic and congestion was like up there, right up there with roads and potholes. So I think that we need to be doing more insofar as auditing and strategically planning the future with our roads, because it's really becoming. And I saw a young man being hit on Cranford Street during the week by a car crossing. A gap was left for the car to go into a driveway, and he was coming through slowly on a motorbike, which they're allowed to do, and he got hit. So, I just raised that really for board discussion and consideration.
We have got the briefing with transport staff on the weeks on the 26th.
Right.
That is something I had already flagged with Mark about this whole corridor.
Yeah.
Keeping it on the radar. But obviously we did have staff looking into it last term, and as far as I was aware, it was kind of an open, we never resolved it.
Right. Right.
So, and it obviously is in our board plan as well, which helps prioritise it.
Yeah.
So we definitely bring it up at that briefing.
Okay, thank you.
And they'll have the heads up about it.
Yeah, great. The other thing is and I think this was mentioned in an email, Emma, that board chairs were involved in a discussion around the process, the way we make CSRs and things. I've sent that through to everyone a few times.
So the combined.
Yeah, but as I've said in my email, the combined board briefing did not highlight that as an issue that was going to be discussed. The issue that was to be discussed was natural hazards. Yeah, it was natural hazards. So, but what I want to know is why there was no elected member input in that.
It was at that combined board briefing.
What they were wanting feedback.
To
right.
Comment on it, ask questions.
Okay, all right. Very, very unacceptable. Totally unacceptable that there wasn't. When you look at the degree of consultation we do as a board with the public and stuff, that's just verging on outrageous. The other thing is the code of conduct and standing orders that are being reviewed. Great. Well, if you're going to mention that, that's fine. Thank you.
Sorry, I've just got one more.
Yeah.
The Mayor's Community Forum. Do we know about that? Do you know about that? Okay, so the Mayor has, he stated last year or something rather that he was going to put together a community forum, which he is doing. And I think he's got a date for the first meeting. I can't actually remember what it is, but, and so it's for community boards and residents groups. So, I'm
sure we'll be informed of it if we're invited.
But it definitely says, it definitely says community boards. So, so that's a great thing that's happening. I was involved in the Sarah Community Forum, and though we didn't achieve much, it was a fantastic experience. And I do think that a lot of things outside of Sarah happened because of the connections that were around that table, because it was business,
That's
sport,
so well.
health. Yeah, we should. I'm surprised we haven't heard.
Right, Simon.
Thank you. A couple of things, just noting the date, and that it's March 15th tomorrow. Also that we've entered Ramadan, so Ramadan Mubarak for those who observe. Also, in terms of events in our area, Sakina Trust is running a number of events through Unity Week. And most of those events are taking place tomorrow and through the weekend. Those events really are designed to connect the community at large with the Muslim community in Christchurch. I'll be taking part in the Unity motorcycle ride on Saturday night, because why not? Most of those events are in our board area, and just encourage board members to take a look at that, as well as members of the public. The other one is to let the board know that within the next month, LGNZ will be launching their super local conference, which is coming up later this year, and in parallel with the super local conference will be the community boards conference. As the zone representative, I'll be communicating with and aiming to visit community boards in this zone to encourage them to participate in that community boards conference. I'm not quite sure what the process is for this board. Can I request a public forum with my own board, perhaps? Or else maybe I'll bring it as an information exchange next time. We can talk about that. But yeah, the conference will take place in August in Wellington. And yeah, the decision's been made this year. The Community Boards Conference historically has been held in sort of regional venues to support our regions. We're experimenting with something different this year, which is to hold it in Wellington with the aim of making it more accessible for community board members from right around the Motu. So we're really looking forward to hopefully growing the people attending it this year.
Thanks, Simon. Finally, myself, I just wanted to say I attended the community networking hui along with Emma, which was mentioned in the area report. And Simon, sorry, and you did too. You had 2 hats on.
I did.
And that was really good. It's the first one for the year, and good to get those groups together and network and catch up on what's going on. The other thing I did want to mention is that we had our community board chairs and deputies forum this morning. So we got a very brief update from the CE. And she is looking at coming to hopefully our next meeting with a member of the ELT for just some sort of general feedback on the organisation and how things are going in the relationship between community boards and our councillors and staff and that sort of thing. We had an update on the long-term plan. We were showing the improvements to the Orvis bubble tool. It's had some really good improvements since last year, breaking things down further by community board and the ward area as well. And also community board members will be provided with board and ward-based fact sheets, which showing the budgets in the current LTP versus what's budgeted in the draft LTP. And we'll be looking to promote that on our social board page and our Facebook and social media and that sort of thing. We had an update just about the timeline for the LTP, which Victoria's already touched on. The code of conduct, obviously the 2017 version needs updating, and the democracy services team are about to start a refresh on that. We board chairs asked for engagement early and up front, and also in that same area they're looking at also updating the partnership agreement, the government's partnership agreement. So we there will be a session eventually with board chairs and councillors to discuss that, and we'll be taking feedback from our boards, obviously. So we'll keep you in the loop with that. Capital program workshops for each board are happening towards the end of this month. We've got the transport team booked in, and hopefully we're getting the 3 Waters plus parks, hopefully. And then I mentioned the government's partnership group. But what I'll do is I will send out the notes from that meeting when they are officially come out, so you guys can be kept in the loop with what we discussed at those forums.
What are the terms of reference around the code of conduct review?
They're coming to us with that.
And do we get to see that and input on
I'll
that?
share that with you, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, that, we want board to be kept in the loop.
Okay, thanks.
Definitely. Yeah. Victoria, you still got your hand up, is that a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one. Thank you. I just wondered whether you could report back to us, possibly, Emma, on the St. Joseph's School issue in relation to that traffic management. I was really disappointed to have the contact directly from the principal at St. Joseph's School about a road closure that was really going to affect the operations of the school, and there was no engagement whatsoever with the school around the timing or the logistics of that. Can you just report back on that and perhaps give us some, hopefully some confidence that this isn't going to happen again, because it's happened more than once to that school.
It's such a problem for that school because they only have the one access off that street.
So the contractors did get in touch with the school. They did a stop work notice, went through, spoke to the principal, Aaron, who, as you know, Victoria, I was in contact with to follow up. He received an email apology from the contractor who stated at each point that they didn't follow the process that they'd discussed with him to follow for any future works, and they were going in to visit as well to go through that process and give assurances that this wouldn't happen again. So Aaron, on my last correspondence, was thanking us for the connection and for getting the contractor in touch with him. So to the best of my knowledge, that's all sorted, and all we can do now is stay in the loop if Aaron has any future issues. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it was escalated very quickly, which was good once that email came through. Cool, that's all.
Oh, there is one other. There was, I think it's about February 9, I first posted it, and I have nudged it 3 times and posted it 3 times through Snapsend Solve. It's the traffic sign that's sitting on the post if you're travelling up Main North Road towards St Bede's, but you get to the Cranford Street intersection. So you've got Cranford Street on your right and the old vet on the corner there, and then continuing up. Now there's a sign there that's totally illegible, and it's about who you're giving way to traffic. So I just raise that now because I'm just not getting anywhere with it.
But that's in the section that's got all the roadworks going on at the moment.
No.
Just ahead of it.
No, it's not.
You're saying it's between the vet and St Bede's?
No.
No, outside.
Don't push back on me all the time, Emma. It is at the intersection of Main North Road and Cranford Street.
Right.
Right. So you've got the vet on the right, but it's the north facing sign. So when you get to the traffic lights there, which is Cranford on your right,
yep,
and you carry straight on, the roadworks are up there. It's that set of lights at the Cranford Main North Road intersection. And there's a sign sitting on the post, the lamppost, traffic light there. That is illegible. And I think it says right turning traffic give way to or something, but it's illegible.
Could you send us through the CSR number?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I say us, I mean Mark.
Yep, sure thing.
Uncle Estimate.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Ellie. Right, we'll finish with our karakia.
Watia, kia mama. Tina, huie, taike.
And I'll close the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hi all.